And God bless him, Ron. He's off to a good start. Should they sign him? That's the question. Folsey, can you look up pitcher contracts that are approximate to Mitch Keller? That's what I'd like to hear, Ron. Would you approach him?
No, not until after the year. After the year, if this continues, absolutely. I don't know that I have to approach him now during the season. I think that was Parato's point as well. If this continues and he looks, I would definitely approach him after the year and see if you can buy out a year or two of his free agency.
I thought Parato said basically he's proven himself. He thinks he's already proven himself
but I think he also said he wouldn't do it until after the season.
I'd do it now because I think I could get a better deal. I'm pretty convinced. He's convinced Parato on Mitch Keller. Are you, Ron? It doesn't sound like it yet.
I'm pretty convinced, but I just don't think there's any need to rush into it now. I think with 2 years left, you can do something with him after the season.
For sure. But you might get a worse deal, especially
Maybe.
if he really explodes, becomes an all-star this year. Is he on pace to be an all-star? What are we looking at, Folsey?
All right, so I've got a couple contracts here. Kyle Freeland, we saw him earlier this year.
Yes,
the Pirates
we did.
rocked him.
Yeah.
28 years old, signed a 5 years, $64.5 million deal. That's 12.9 annually.
Very reasonable, I think.
Christian Javier, 25 years old for the Astros, 5 years, $64 million, 12.8.
The Twins just signed somebody too, long term, gave him a lot of money. Yeah, I mean, you're not talking Scherzer money here. You can get the guy for that. I'd investigate it, but again, I'd probably just take my chances at the end of the year.
Sandy Alcantara from the Marlins, 26 years old, 5 years, 56.
How old is Keller? Is he 28?
Right around there. He's going to be 30 by the end of his contract. I think he is 27 right now, Ron. He just turned 27.
Okay.
So 2 years left on his deal. Yeah, the only thing I'm thinking would be helpful to approach him now is you get a better deal. Maybe you get a better deal from him. Who knows what happens with him this season? But I think we're getting to the point now where it seems like, as Parato said, it seems like when you go out there, you can expect a very, very professional performance. You know what I mean?
He's always had that stuff, right? I mean, everybody raved about his stuff going back, kind of like Tyler Glass now,
Yeah.
who never really figured it out here, and then he gets to Tampa and he figures it out, although poor guy's been hurt more than he's been healthy. It looks like Mitch Keller has figured out the mental side of the game.
And he also has some couple new pitches in his repertoire. One this year with that sweeper, and he added to it last year. So he's not going to be a guy. I don't know how many double-digit strikeout games you're going to get from him like last game.
What do you have, 10 in the last game?
Yeah, but it seems like he's figured it out. It really does. You look, he had a great April, and then you look at last year, and he finished with a great September, an okay August, a great July, and a pretty decent June. It just seems like we're headed toward a calendar year where he's been pretty darn good for the most part.
Well, and even in first start in Cincinnati this year was a rough start, but he kept them into the game, and then other than that, since then he's been outstanding.
How about Contreras? Would you approach him at some point?
No. He's, 23?
Yeah.
Way too young. They have way too much control. What do they have, 4 more years of him?
Yeah.
No, I'm not going to do that yet.
Hunter Green's 23 years old in Cincinnati.
I don't know that
That's what I'm saying.
I don't know that he's as good as Hunter Green. Now, depends what price you get him for, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, that's the whole deal here is why you approach these guys. What about O'Neill Cruz, though? Would you approach him?
I want to see him come back from this injury.
So do I.
Before I do.
That's the thing. But it's not how many years of control for me or how young a guy is. That's the whole point for me, is that sometimes that's when you get your best deal. That's when you can take the chance.
That is if you're convinced
and
that
lock him
the
in.
short sample is enough to convince you.
Yeah. Right. Of course. For me, with Contreras, I'm getting there with him. And with Cruz, I'm already there. With Cruz, I would have tried it by now, but I'm with you on the injury. That kind of injury, I've got to see him come back. And
I just remember Rennie Stennett
player.
was not the same player after he tore up his ankle.
All right, Folsey. Would you approach Cruz? Contreras? Anybody else around
I'd
here?
Approach him and see. I mean, there's nothing wrong with talking to guys. Well, I guess there's nothing wrong with talking to guys. I mean, some people will tell you can't have negotiations within a season, but we just saw that Brian Reynolds signed a deal whenever it needed to be done in a season.
I just think it's a great weapon for underfunded teams like the Pirates. I don't know what that phrase really means. Low payroll teams, teams that choose not to spend more, whatever the hell you want to call them. Their best bet is to approach guys early in their career and tempt them with money,
With
guaranteed money.
Guaranteed money. Right.
That's what they can
A lot
do.
of security.
Yeah. And Contreras now, he's only 25 starts into his big league career. Yeah, I'd probably wait on him till after the year, but I'd be itching. I'd be itching to get some of these guys that I really like and tempting them with some long-term money. The kind of money that's not going to bankrupt your franchise if they don't turn out, you know?
Oviedo, another one.
Yeah, him too.
Oviedo, another one.
And that's how you have to survive if you're a team like the Pirates,
Right.
right?
And that's how they
Shrewd
got,
deals.
contrary to popular belief, that's how they got the dream outfield signed, right?
Right.
Nobody wants to believe that that actually happened. But they did sign McCutchen, Marte, and Polanco, all to long-term deals that ate up free agency years and took them into their 30s. Polanco, disintegrated. McCutchen declined, and they traded him wisely. And then Marte actually,
Still a good player.
yeah, he just ruined one of their seasons with that idiotic suspension. But
Huh,
Right.
I
He pretty
almost
much
forgot
lived
about
up to
that.
it.
I almost forgot about. I remember writing. It was an off day in Cincinnati. They opened up, and I remember writing about this outfield has the potential to be the best in baseball.
yes,
I remember writing that, and man, it didn't turn out that way.
and they locked them all up to those kinds of deals. That's why I say the earlier the better. And the franchise survived the Polanco deal. They wrote all those deals with club options. Same thing they gave themselves at the end of the Reynolds deal. They protect themselves in these things.
Gots to.
Gots to.
Gots to.
No other way to operate if you're them.
But Keller, same thing with Keller, even though he's a little older. Every time he has a great start,
He gets more expensive.
cha-ching,
Ka-ching, ka-ching,
right?
ka-ching, ka-ching.
Every time he has a great start, the price goes up.
And
What
especially for
what
him
if
when
he's
he's
an
in his
all-star?
late 20s.
Yeah,
What do you expect from him tonight?
same
Do you
thing
think
he's delivered.
He's going to match McClanahan pitch for pitch?
6 innings, 2 runs, 7 strikeouts, something like
Is that going to be enough to win?
Maybe not against that guy. Maybe not.
I mean, McClanahan right now, he looks like he's going to win the Cy Young.
I'd like to see the Pirates play a smarter game than they played last night.
That's for sure.
And don't walk
for sure.
7 guys either.
Yeah, don't walk
I don't think
7.
I don't think Keller's going to walk 7 guys.
That is the one thing with Contreras. Every once in a while, he finds himself in a little bit of trouble throwing strikes.
Yeah, he does. On the other hand, they don't lose a ball in the lights. He comes out of that whole thing with 1 run, right?
Right.
You're right.
If that,
What a horrible place to play baseball.
it's not good with that ceiling. It's
Not
just,
good. Doesn't the balls hit that ceiling too? And they're like cables that go out.
yeah.
I mean,
Look at this guy. He's 5-0 this year, McClanahan, with a 2.12 ERA.
Yep.
And in his career, he's got 377 strikeouts and 323 innings. He's going to be a handful, and he absolutely tortured them last season, if memory serves. Does memory serve, Fulsey?
I don't remember that one. Of course, they lost 100 games last year. A lot of people tortured them. I don't
Fulsey,
remember.
did that happen last year, or am I hallucinating?
I'm not sure.
Yeah, he went 7 innings, 4 hits, 1 run, 10 strikeouts.
Yeah, I would be toying with them.
And I think that's going to happen again. But I think the Pirates, they could eke out a 3-2 win, Ron. And